A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. And Jesus said to them, "The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which someone found and hid. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field." Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. And on finding one pearl of great value, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. The word of the Lord. Today we're thinking about that ever elusive topic of what exactly does Jesus mean by the kingdom of heaven. There's lots of parables and there's lots of discussion in the Gospels. We've spent plenty of time here trying to unpack that idea of what is the kingdom of heaven. And today our focus is a little bit of a pivot on that. As I hear these two particular parables, Jesus is talking about not just what the kingdom of heaven is, but the idea of the reaction to finding it. Finding the kingdom of heaven, having it in your grasp, and how it can be life-changing. And the encouragement is to strive toward that finding of the kingdom, and that when you find it, everything else fades to the background. Everything else fades to the background. Not that everything else necessarily in your life will be unimportant, but that it's all reflected through the glory and the light of having found that kingdom of heaven, and it changes the way everything else in your life works. I imagine a few times in my life, and you may be able to come up with your own stories of what that kind of feeling must be like. I remember finding my spouse, the new one I knew I was supposed to be with, and I remember in the early days of being in relationship with her, feeling like she was the last person I thought about before I fell asleep at the end of the day, and the first thing I thought about when I woke up in the morning, and it became all-consuming. And it didn't make everything else in my life less important necessarily, but it changed the way I thought about everything else. It changed my life, being with the one whom I felt I was called to be with. I remember having a similar feeling about entering into a vocation for the priesthood, and feeling like I was willing to give up anything and everything in order to answer what I thought the person I was called to be. That's the kind of feeling that I think about when we think about what it must be to find the kingdom of heaven and to have it light up your life. To realize this is it. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is who I am supposed to be with. That's the kind of feeling I want for all of us. And I spend a lot of time here in the church, as particularly as new people are coming into a faith journey. They've hit a phase in their lives where they're trying to figure out who they are and what they believe. You may be in that phase right now. All of us go through that phase from time to time, where we're stopping and thinking through, what do I believe? Who should I be in this world? Who am I in this world? What am I to God in this world? And I hope that through study, through prayer and reflection, for some people, they come here and it's the Episcopal Church, it's St. James Cathedral in Chicago. For some people, it's not. I hope, but when they're on that journey, that's what I hope for them, is that they find that thing that it is that deeply, deeply connects them to a God that loves them and gives them a sense of, this is who I've been meant to be in my life. And I found it. And I found it, and it fills me with life and with joy, and it illuminates everything else I do in my life. It changes the way I think about everything. That's what I hope for all of us. That's what Jesus hopes for us. That's what he commends to his disciples when he talks to them about pursuing being his disciple, following his path to the kingdom of heaven. And that when you reach that point where it lights up your life, And you may be willing to sell everything else in the world to have it. But it's a sign of the joy that it will bring you in your life. That's what Jesus hopes for you. That's what I hope for all of us. And that's why we need to support one another in our prayer, in our study, in our discipleship, as we are all on that path to finding that pearl of great value. Amen.